Why did you end up leaving Central States?
Well, because Bob Geigel found out we were on that ledge there in Marriott. He told us to get the hell out of there. No, it was time. I was there. I'd been there for I think a year and a half, right about a year and a half. And ESPN, AWA it was on ESPN, so there was national exposure there. I think I can't remember who contacted me. It was Greg Gagne, who it was that contacted me and wanted me to come up there. And I loved Central States area so much, and Bob Geigel working for him. Harley was gone after a while, but I mean I loved working for Geigel so much that I didn't really want to hurt his feelings. I wanted to stay loyal to him, but at the same time, we're talking about another level now. It's time to move on. It's funny how I had no guarantees of what I would make. An AWA. We knew he was going to bigger cities. He was traveling. Everything basically. There were no flights in the Central States. Everything was a drive. Now going to AWA, the booking sheet. There was stuff in San Francisco, Denver, Salt Lake, Chicago, Baltimore. So I mean, now we're branching out flying. So you're going to make a little more money, a lot more money, really. But and again too, like I said, national exposure now as compared to just the Central States area. It was time to fly. It's time to go. It's funny, for that year and a half that I was with Geigel, what you got, whatever they give you for each house, just all of a sudden, a last ditch effort, he came to me and said, "What if I give you $700 a week?" And all of a sudden, he can give me a guarantee now. I could never do that before. Okay, so that was a learning right there. It's like, I see how this works, and I was very appreciative of it. But like I said, it was just time to go. It was the next level. It was time to go.
Were there any talks about going to WWF or NWA instead of the AWA?
Going where?
Going to WWF or NWA instead of AWA? Point? Yeah.
No. I mean, in fact, I didn't even know WWF really existed hardly. I mean, that's how oblivious I was. I was just so happy with the party. And like I said, Geigel, in fact, my buddy DJ Peterson was a big influence too. That was probably my best friend, ever. He died. He got killed, motorcycle accident. I think in '94. He went to WWF for a while. The rest of I think it was DJ Peterson. But, he was a big influence. I mean, he was a great friend, great person. Anybody that ever met him can tell you that. And it was almost like that was one of the holdback. I mean, I almost didn't want to leave my buddy. I wanted to wait and try to get him to be able to go with me. Which eventually he did come up. And I remember the night that was pretty much my last night. It was in Kansas City Memorial Hall. The night that Geigel says, "Hey, look, I can give you $700." I was like, "Thanks, man." But maybe you would have told me this before now. But I'm already committed up there now. That very night, man, we DJ and I were out celebrating, and this was the kind of thing that went on all the time there in the business in general. We were sitting in the place called the Capri Lounge, which was a lot of the boys stayed there. They had a weekly or monthly rate for the boys, whatever. And I remember me and DJ were sitting at a table, and this was another place. Back then it was always what they call the Rats, thing. The Capri Lounge was just like that Marriott I was telling you in St. Louis. That was, you couldn't miss. I mean, I think you could miss even less here at this place because this was like a home base area too. So me and DJ were sitting at a table. It had like the bar and then the restaurant on one side, and the restaurant was actually closed, but we were sitting at a table closest to the lounge, and sitting there, me on one side, DJ, we each had a girl with us, and we were kind of just not saying much, just sitting there. Bob Geigel comes walking by, stops, he looks. "What's going on here? You guys are never this quiet. What have you girls done to them?" And the girls, "Oh no, we're not crazy girls. We go to the college. We're college girls. I don't know." So Geigel he's looking at me, and we're both just like this. We're not hardly saying much. We're not moving. And guy goes, something's definitely wrong here. And so I was like, and he looks under the table, and each of us had a girl under there doing what they do. He goes, "That's my boys." I knew that was. And he looks at the girls that knew what was going on, but they're just sitting there. He goes, "You can never learn this in 4 years of college. I tell you that right now." And he walks off. But that's the kind of stuff that me and DJ and a lot of guys, but so it's like, damn man, I didn't know it would be the same way up in AWA. I thought, oh man, I'm gonna miss this, But that was, and then that was it. The next day, I think packed up and headed up to Minneapolis. Moved up to Minneapolis.
Was it tough to tell Geigel you were leaving?
Yeah, because I liked him so much, and like I said, he was a great guy. The fact that he wanted me to stay there so much made me want to stay too.
Was there any talk of when you went to AWA doing singles, or were you coming in with the tag team with Shawn?
Well, I think they had in mind doing a Rock and Roll Express type thing, just like the Central States did. But I think they didn't know who they wanted to do it with. So when they brought me in, actually I was there 3 or 4 weeks, and I guess I was getting over fairly decent. I was scared to death, man, because I was like new guy, lowest on the totem pole, new guy in. And also everybody was pretty plainly dressed. Let me see, wait a minute, where they had the Freebirds and the Road Warriors. Other than them, I mean, here I was coming in with this tiger stripe, fur on the legs, as Shawn called it, and around the wrist, and the tiger shirt type thing, and headband, and everything, tiger stuff. So it sort of was, look, stuck out like a sore thumb going in there, and kind of everybody was checking out the new guy. What's his deal? So it was very nerve wracking, but it went pretty good. And about 3 or 4 weeks in, Greg Gagne pulled me aside. He goes, "We want to do a tag team. We want to create a tag team here for the teeny boppers," as he said. And he says, "You know who the Rock and Roll Express is?" At that point, I'm still oblivious. I'm like, "Yeah, I know of them. I don't know them." And I was actually, I don't even think I really was 100% sure I knew what he was talking about, because it was a Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, and I just knew it was an express. I didn't know for sure what he's talking about. But he said, we kind of want to do something like that. Is there anybody out there that you've met that you feel comfortable tagging with? And immediately, Shawn, because we tagged it once, and it was like that. And my immediate answer was yeah, it's going to be Shawn Michaels. And right as I said it, I thought about Dave. I was like, oh shit, I can get Dave in here. But then again, I mean, Dave got in there anyway. But as soon as I said Shawn Michaels, Greg was like, oh yeah, we've heard a lot about him. Just like Kansas City. And they're like, yeah, that's good. That's good for us. And that works for us. You're real comfortable with that? Yeah. So we got a call. Now I want to tell you a little story that was kind of foreshadowed the entire career. If I would have just known, if I was just paid attention right then. We used to go to Vegas every third week at the Showboat and film. Curt Hennig was the greatest guy, man, in the world. I love him to death. He was, of course, his father. He learned the business from his father. So besides the wrestling, he knew the antics that went on behind the scene for the boys. Curt was like a leader. Scott Hall was up there. Scott had gone up there, and Curt. They were tagging Curt and Scott at the time, which was they had good chemistry together. But Curt was, even Scott's big old, Curt was like everybody followed him. Curt was the man that, what do we do here? How do we do it? What's the right way? What's the right way to do this, Curt? How do we party? Where do we party? What do we do? What do we say? Who do we rib? Who do we not rib? I mean, Curt was the man with the answers, Curt was a man's man. He was very cool. So we're out in the Showboat, like I said, every third week we do our TV tapings. It's like my second or third one before Shawn's coming in, and Curt introduced me to the lady that owned the Showboat, and she used to tell us, hey, if you play the slot machines, make sure you play the ones by the door. They're set to hit more, because when people come in, we want to hear the ching, ching, ching. So, Curt's like, it works. I do it all the time. So Curt and I go over. It's about noon or something like that. Shawn's scheduled to fly in for the first time, coming in from Texas. He's scheduled to get in around 3 o'clock. So straight into, I mean, I love the gambling, man. The blackjack tables and craps and slots, which only because of that. I mean, I hate the slots other than the fact that if you find the ones by the door that are hot, I mean, you can do good. Anyway, sitting there playing on this one machine because it's right by the door and it's breaking even. And Curt's, and so assured me that he knew this was the area. This is it. This is the area you want to be in. So he's on one side and staying on this machine for a couple, 2-3 hours. That's pretty much about even. Maybe I'd get up about $15, $20 and then get down to nothing, maybe down 10 and hit something. It was just, I just knew it was kind of just getting close to hitting a good one. 3 hours worth of play, and Shawn walks up and he's like, okay, what's our out? What are we wearing? What are we wearing? He wants to see. He's all excited. He's like the casino, the lights flashing, bells are ringing, whistles, and, everything's going off, and he's all, excited about that, but he wants to see the outfits. Let's go see the outfits. Let's see the outfits. So we tell Curt, so we see him in a little bit. We'll go up to the room. It was right there. The hotel was all one in the casinos. We go up to the room, and I had on the bed, had the leggings, fur legging things laid out, all of mine and his, both sets. Everything was made out of, as he called it, fur. But it was a cloth, some kind of cloth with it. But, the wristbands, the headbands, the ties, the belt, everything was black, white, tiger, or zebra, whatever you want it to be. And the shirt was black, white print, zebra print, or animal print, whatever. And then he walks in the door and he looks. He goes, oh my God, we're wearing that. I said, no, man, it's not bad. I promise. I mean, I've been doing it here, and he goes, oh my God. He runs and grabs the phone and he calls his mother right away. He said, Mom, these guys wearing fur everywhere. That's the first thing. He was so disappointed. I mean, I had to assure him, no, it'll be okay. I promise it'll be all right. He was so upset. But once we got past that, he's like, okay, let's go gamble. Let's go down and gamble. So how do I do this? How do I do it? What do I do? What do I do? He'd never been in it. He didn't know what to do. So we downstairs, and I want to go right back in my machine. So let's play the slots. That's easy. Just the coins in and pull. That's the easiest one. Start with that. So we go down, and some lady was on my machine. I'm gonna get her that one. I'm waiting on that one. Okay. So Curt's like, Jannetty, come over here and take over mine. I don't want to. I've been playing for it. So he takes off, and I go play his. Keep it going, try to hit that. And I'm waiting for the lady to leave. I'm gonna get on mine. So I'm gonna pull once. I see the lady walk off. I'm like, all right. I look over now. Shawn has stepped in there. He's putting coins in. I'm like, all right. You can ask Shawn. This is true. He pulls some bitch one time. Ding, 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 ding. Lights, bells, whistles. He hit the 777s. One damn pull. Curt come run over. He goes, that's not right. You got to get half that Jannetty. He played it for 3 hours. He set it up for you. 3 hours. That was the story of the career. 3 hours of play, but he comes in and puts one time, one pull, 777s. So that was our first day at AWA.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.